Someone in the White House disagreed with Donald Trump as the White House turns.
Made some very big mistakes.
I asked for his resignation.
I'm disappointed in the Attorney General.
White House sources have been speaking to the press about how Donald Trump feels about Defense Secretary Mark Esper. And I was actually shocked to find that Trump had issues with Mark Esper before some of Esper's statements this week in regard to using the military against peaceful protesters. Now, in a story that we shared with you recently, Esper said that he actually disagrees with using military force against protesters. He said so during his own press briefing. Take a quick look at that.
To use active duty forces in a law enforcement role should only be used as a matter of last resort and only in the most urgent and dire of situations. We are not in one of those situations now. I do not support invoking the Insurrection Act.
So now senior Republican sources speaking to CNN say that Donald Trump is not happy about what happened in that press conference because there was a departure from the messaging that Donald Trump wants, and that is messaging to attempt to intimidate these protesters by the threat of military force against them. Trump and other top officials, including National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, are not happy with Esper after his Wednesday remarks. Three people familiar with the White House's thinking said. One White House source said, "I think this is the end for him." And if you just look back at Trump's 3.5 years in office, it's not surprising if Trump is considering firing Esper for disagreeing with him. A U.S. official close to Esper and familiar with the White House thinking said that the secretary is being skewered by those inside the White House for coming out Wednesday to express his views. I'm not sure who thought that was a good idea, another official told CNN. And by the way, Cenk, I mentioned earlier that Trump already had issues with Esper, and I didn't know about that. I was curious about it. Like, what did Mark Esper do to cross Donald Trump? And, just when you think you understand just how thin Donald Trump's skin really is, you come across a video like what you're about to see and realize, no, it's actually much thinner. Because what Esper said in this interview with Bret Baier last December apparently upset Donald Trump. Let's just quickly watch that video, and then I want to hear your thoughts.
Like working for President Trump?
I have a very good relationship with President Trump. We have a great national security team. You called out Robert O'Brien there. My classmate, Secretary Pompeo, and I have a good relationship. It's a good, strong team. The president is always open to good ideas. He lets you have your say, your word. We're constantly kicking ideas around within the team. So it's good. And he's just another one of many bosses you've had in your time that you learn to work with. And again, I think what's reassuring, he really believes in America's military and our young servicemen and women.
So the issue that Trump had with that statement was that Mark Esper said he's just like any other boss. But it was like a long statement where he's like applauding Trump, saying all these complimentary things about him. It's just amazing how thin-skinned Donald Trump really is. But there's actually an instigator within the White House, which I'll get to in just a minute. But I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, #baby. If it turns out you can put baby in a corner as long as it's in a bunker. Esper said it's like working with any other boss. You learn how to deal with it. Something along those lines. You guys just heard it yourselves. And of course, we all know why he's saying that. And to be fair to Trump, he knows why he's saying it, because the guy's a moron and he's super hard to deal with. He changes his mind all the time, doesn't know what he's talking about, gives you nonsensical orders, and endangers your career and sanity and everything else around him. So everybody knows that's what that was a reference to. But you're right, it was smothered in a flattery sandwich, and it still wasn't enough for Bunker Boy. So now Esper, why did he do what he did? Because he's clearly now saying something that Donald Trump doesn't agree with. Donald Trump made a big show out of like, yeah, we're going to send the military in. And here's the defense secretary saying, I don't agree. Well, what happened was Mad Dog Mattis came out, and several other generals did, and Jim Mattis is the former defense secretary, and said that Trump is making a mockery of the Constitution, but furthermore said that Esper and Milley, who's the head of the Joint Chiefs, should not have joined him in that photo op. And that criticism is stinging Esper, and he knows that they are right. That's why he did this absurd thing where he was like, was that a photo op? I didn't know where we were going. I thought maybe we were going to get a sandwich or something. He didn't say the sandwich part, but he did say everything. It's like, I didn't know that. We were going to say Jaws? They were taking pictures? I didn't know. So he's backpedaling furiously because for a couple of reasons. One, Trump's reign is going to be over, hopefully, in a couple of months. And then you have to worry about, being humiliated for the rest of your life if you joined his illegal and unconstitutional actions. And they are worried about their careers. Let's keep it real. But the second thing is the sense of the culture of the military. And the culture is that you don't get involved in civilian things and you don't violate the Constitution. And that's what your oath is to, a Constitution. And so he knows that if he does what Trump orders, if Trump eventually orders it, it's going to be a violation of his oath. And he's trying to send a message there like, don't do it. But that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is he's going to get steamrolled. Yeah,
look, I could be wrong, but I am not buying for a second that any of these generals or, by the way, including Mattis, actually have any concern about the oath or protecting the Constitution. And let me explain why. Sure, yes, Esper's also worried about his career, but more than anything, let's just take it back to the root of the issue. Who funds the military, Cenk? We do. We do. We fund the military.
This is a trick question.
No, but okay, so also, how do they recruit people to be part of the military? By all sorts of pro-democracy, protect the country, protect our Constitution propaganda, right? How are you going to recruit people? And how are you going to persuade Americans to comfortably hand over their hard-earned money to fund the military when the military is fighting the very people that fund it? It's just not good PR for the military. And I really think that that's at the heart of what we're hearing. And look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just have a very dark view of humans. Maybe I'm too pessimistic. But these are people who watch Donald Trump take a giant crap on our Constitution over and over again, basically scale back our civil liberties since the beginning of his administration, scale back on protecting our very environment, the environment we live in since the beginning of his administration. You think they actually care about doing the moral thing here? Of course not. I think what they do care about, especially Jim Mattis, is, well, if the military or funding the military isn't a popular thing to do anymore, how are we going to lobby to members of Congress to increase our military budget when their own constituents are viciously against it? I think that's really at the heart of what we're seeing right now. I don't know, just my thoughts.
Yeah, Anna, look, that might be the underlying reasons, but the culture is real, and culture does determine action. And this is not just the U.S. military. A lot of militaries, the Turkish military and so many others, have this edict of do not turn your guns on your own citizens. And when they do, there is rage over it, which goes to your point as well. But it's against military culture, and definitely in America. So I think that Esper, having grown up in that culture, felt the pushback there, and that's part of why he did what he did. To me, the most important question is he going to last these next 5 months, or actually more importantly, until January 21st? Because if they get rid of him now, God knows who Trump will replace him with. If he replaces him with like Jared Kushner, I'm only half kidding. It might be that he then, when push comes to shove and we're after the election and Trump is lost and he tells the defense secretary, we're not leaving. Well, apparently Esper would say, yes, you are, but the next guy might not.
Well, Kayleigh McEnany was actually asked about whether or not Esper's days are numbered. And I think her answer, even though, of course, she's not as forthcoming as she should be, still did reveal a lot. Take a look.
President still have confidence in Secretary Esper?
So not that I'm aware of in terms of expressing his opinion, and I wouldn't get into the private conversations that went on here in the White House. And with regard to whether the president has confidence, I would say if he loses confidence in Secretary Esper, I'm sure you all will be the first to know.
But as of right now, he still does?
As of right now, Secretary Esper is still Secretary Esper, and should the president lose faith, we will all learn about that in the future.
Yeah, so for like the moment being, Secretary Esper is still Secretary Esper. And if that changes, you'll be the first to know. I'm not qualified for this.
Well, I think she's saying something slightly different. First of all, Anna Kasparian is still Anna Kasparian. Okay, there's two hilarious parts of that. One is that statement, obviously, but the other is her saying, well, if he loses faith in Esper, you guys will be the first to know. I think she's being literal, because it's not like she's been there a couple of weeks. She knows Trump's not following any protocol. He's not going to go through his communications department. Get out of here. He's not going to tell Katie.
He's going to tweet it.
You first. He's going to tweet it. So she knows. So she's like, what do I know, man? I'm just up here trying to do PR. I don't have any actual information. And you know he's going to tweet it the minute he's ready to go, and it is what it is.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.